Hello, and we are on week 2 of English 123. What I want to do first of all is hopefully you had a good first week of class. I'm going to go up here to our course content and check out week 2. Hopefully with week 1, as I'm recording this, week 1 is still going on. Hopefully you've got those assignments completed. For week 2, there's only 2 things to do this week, so it's pretty straightforward. It's just discussion form 2 and getting your first paper turned in. With the reading response for this first week, I hope you found Navigators and The Other Place interesting. The Other Place is a very kind of dark and gruesome story, and there's a lot of kind of content that's very mature and kind of heavy. And the Navigators is kind of the opposite in a way. So I'm really curious when I get to reading your reading response how you discuss the similarities. They're both dealing with childhood, and they're both dealing with coming to terms in a way with things that you think is how things are happening in childhood, kind of like Santa Claus, and then dealing with the reality of that not existing. And so I thought that was interesting. And both stories kind of handle that understanding of reality versus what you illusion as a kid in different ways. And so I'm curious to know what your response was for that assignment. But for this week, it's just turning in your first paper. It's just, a 3 to 5 page paper short story. Hopefully, if you've had any questions, you've asked me about that so far. And hopefully the stories in our book have given you a little bit of inspiration on that. It's our first paper, so if you're worried about anything, just email me and let me know. But given that you've taken English 122 before and dealt with short stories, I'm certain that you're pretty proficient in it. So I'm excited to read what you come up with based on your topic and outline. And then discussion forum 2 is going to be right here listed. And so who can you trust? I really like this video. We're going to look at Lindsay Ellis a lot because she is a film studies major and she writes a lot of video essays about different topics. I really like her work. I think that she's very witty and funny in kind of a dry way, but her topics are always interesting. And so she's done this series for PBS called It's Lit, and haha. But this first video is called Who Can You Trust About Unreliable Narrators? And I really like this video because often when we think of narration, we think that our narrators are always telling the truth, right? We think that whether it's the omniscient narrator or the first person observer, we think that how we're viewing the story is accurate, right? Because whether we're seeing it from a character's perspective or we're seeing it from like the all-knowing perspective, we take that as fact almost what's going on. And so I think it's interesting when an author throws in an unreliable narrator that we can't necessarily trust. And I really like it when at first you don't know that they're unreliable, and then as the story goes on, you kind of figure that out. So for example, if you've seen the movie Gone Girl, when Gone Girl starts, we have Ben Affleck, his character, and we also have, oh gosh, her name is escaping me, but we have the man and the husband and wife, their characters. And at first, it's treated like Ben Affleck's character is the one to blame and that he's very bad in this situation. And then as the story goes on, we realize that her character is not quite as reliable as we thought she was. And I really like that. I think that's a really neat choice authors can make. It's not necessary. It's a very stylistic choice. It's kind of like style and point of view meld together for that type of decision, but it can be really effective. So in your discussion forum, I just want to know, what is the point of this video? Do you agree with her argument about unreliable narrators? Why or why not? Thinking back to the 2 stories from a reading response, could either of those be considered unreliable narrators? And how would you argue that? So, you may have to go back and look at those 2 stories to answer this question, but is there an unreliable narrator there? And what do we do with that? And then in your own story that you've developed for this week to turn in, is your narrator reliable or unreliable? And if so, if they are unreliable, why did you make them that way? And if not, I'm going to guess that they're not because this is a pretty stylistic choice. But if they are not unreliable, would you ever use an unreliable narrator? Would that be something you'd be interested in? Why or why not? So just wanting to know your opinions about this video. It's pretty short, but I do like the idea of what it does for us as the readers when we have to question whether or not to believe the narrator of the story, because usually you just take it at face value and you don't question things like that, but this is asking us to. So I'm really curious your thoughts about that and what you think. So this week is pretty straightforward and pretty simple. I will go ahead and let you know that I am going to open up week 3. Let me go to course content. Week 3 is going to get opened up for you starting on the 14th. So you'll be able to go ahead and work ahead to week 3 if you want to. But the video for week 3, I'm actually going to be out of town the weekend of the 13th and 14th. So I'll be away from my computer until Monday. So it will probably be Monday night when I get week 3's lecture video up on here. But just keep that in mind. But otherwise, if you have any questions, please let me know. But otherwise, I hope you're enjoying the class. I'm really excited to read your paper at the end of this week. It should be really fun. But otherwise, I hope you have a great week. Stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.